right, so this evening, well, today is Good Friday in Iowa, and it is really nice weather today. So we are going to walk around and show you all the buds of the trees. So we're really excited. Yesterday, Samuel, my husband, was holding Samuel and looking at the trees, and he asked him, "Daddy, why are you looking at the trees?" And he said, "I just love them, Samuel. God just had me love trees so much." And Samuel says, "Daddy, you just have a big green hairy heart." Oh, Samuel, he's so cute. So we do love trees around here. And so this tree right here is a Bradford pear. Now this is a tree we actually brought with us from where we lived before we bought this farm. And we dug it up and we brought it with us and we planted it right here next to our house. And then I think it was the year after, or that same year that we had transplanted it, we hit it with the mower, and then my husband had to cut it down. So he cut it down flat, and as you can see, though, the roots did not die because look how tall it is. And we've been here for 12 years. So this is a Bradford pear, and we love it. And look at it, it grew so tall into that oak tree, so tall. And look at the buds. And now this is a good pollinator tree that helps. Well, we have bees, of course, so the bees love it, but also it helps with all of our other fruit trees and stuff and to pollinate. So it's a good tree. Yeah, we love it. And it was, the roots, like I said, just because you have to prune something back doesn't mean the roots are dead. So I would give it a chance and it'll grow back. So, all right, so let's go over here to the cherries. So now we're at the Rainier cherry tree. This is sweet cherries, the yellow with a little bit of red on them. So I guess it is said that you can't grow sweet cherry trees in Iowa, but we do. And we have got a lot of sweet cherries off of this tree. And we have a few smaller ones too that are growing, but this is our oldest one. And I mean, it does fabulous. So I mean, as you can see, its trunk, it's old. I mean, it's been here a long time, so it does good. So this is that one. And across the driveway is our sour cherry trees. They do good too. Now all of our trees, we pruned them earlier this year, and there's videos of that on our channel. So that's why they look, really nice and pruned. But yeah, this is your sour cherry tree. It produces a whole bunch too. And I mean a whole bunch. And I mean, look how thick those trunks are. I mean, these are old trees. We planted our orchards pretty much right when we bought this farm, and we've been here for 12 years. So these trees, I mean, they were 2 years old when we got them. So these trees are going on 14 years old. So these are some good fruit trees. As you can see, look at that root from that cherry tree. I mean, that's crazy for a fruit tree. Now we have a pear tree. And see, everything is just budding out so wonderfully this year. So this is one of the pear trees. I believe this is a pear tree. Most of our pear trees, well, we do have pear trees in the far orchard too, but we have a lot of pear trees right here. And okay, so this one is the Asian pear tree. That's like a round pear. And they're kind of different, but they're good. We like them. And the first pear tree I showed you was a red pear, and then these two are Bradford pears. This is just your normal pear tree. No, it's not that. Sorry, not Bradford. That was that pear tree. These one is Bartlett pears. Bradfords don't make pears; they just make flowers. Okay, this one I believe is a nectarine tree. So this is two of them. We have two of them. This one is, this is an old tree too. This is just starting. Everything is just starting to. But look at the trunk on that. Now this one we had to cut back. It kind of got a little bit of a disease on one side, but as you can see, that main trunk is still really thick. So, and now we're on to apple tree. Now, even though apples are slower, but they're starting to get their little bud. But apples are always the slowest. apple tree over here. This was actually the only fruit tree that was here when we moved to our farm. And it has had a little bit of damage to it from storms. So this used to be a really great looking tree when we first came here. And so it used to be, you know, a normal looking tree. And it gave apples every year. It gives apples every year. Then last year, we had a storm, and the wind decided to come down this way, down that way, through that little tunnel, and it wrecked our dog kennels too, but it also wrecked half of this tree. So as you can tell now, it's kind of pitiful, and it's very old, but I think it'll still give us apples. So, you know, fruit trees are amazing. Doesn't matter really what they look like, but they'll still give you fruit. So that's what that is. Okay, so, and that one tree that was here when we first moved here, the first fruit tree that was already here, is a golden delicious. That's what that kind is. Now, over here is another yellow delicious. Actually, I think that's opposite. I think that's yellow delicious, and I think that one's golden delicious. It's kind of hard. We have a lot. There's 9 apple trees in just this little area. So that was yellow delicious. This is golden delicious. We planted this one. So this is golden delicious. And then this is our apricot tree. So we have 1 apricot tree. Oh, we have 2 apricot trees actually. But this is the one that actually gives us the fruit. The other one is younger. So now, normally, I am kind of surprised to say that there isn't anything on this tree like normally. Well, it's very little. I'm surprised those other trees look a little bit faster. I'm surprised. Actually, so what's wrong? Well, what happened was that, so apricots, along with nectarines, cherries, peaches, they bloom before they leaf. So that's why this looks different than those ones that we were showing you. Because we were showing you those apple ones and things like that, so you could see the green, right? Those are the leaves. That's going to happen. So this doesn't have that because these are going to be blooms first. So they're right there. They're just littler. So that's good right there. So now in this little section right here, there's 9 different types of apple trees, then the cherry trees, nectarine, and pear, and 1 apricot. So now up in the front fence, we have some more apple trees. And then on the other side of the yard, that direction. Okay, so now we're on the other side of the driveway where the Bradford pear was. This is the other tree. So this one is another cherry. So it's littler though. And here's a plum tree. So this is the plum tree. Now it's not really doing anything yet. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see that tree. Now we're to a Honeycrisp. We have a couple Honeycrisp apple trees. So right here is the leaf. So see, now these will leaf before they bloom, and that's an apple tree. And we have a couple of them. And what this thing is, yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, we planted peach tree up here. I forgot that. It was just last year. It's just a little baby, as you can see. So it's not very big at all. Here's another apple tree. As you can see, all the apple trees are really leafing out. And now we have another plum tree. So the plum trees are definitely later. But they are starting to, I believe they will bloom too before they leaf. So that's just like that apricot tree. And that, I'm not really sure what those are. I think they're apple trees or plum trees we had to prune back because they were dying, but they're coming back. Ooh, and look at this tree. It's really taking off. That must be another apple tree of some sort. We have a lot of different kinds, so I don't really remember each kind is what, but you know, once the fruit comes, then you know what it is. So these are plum trees. Now these are doing a little bit quicker than those other plum trees. So now this is a pretty, now plum trees are weird because look how skinny. This is an old tree too, but it's not very thick around. And look, it's already have blooms right here. Now this is a funny plum tree. Who knows? I don't understand it, but that's okay. Trees will be trees. And this one's getting blooms on it too. Look at that. This is really fast. These two, well, these are older. I guess that would make the difference. These are the oldest plum trees. Okay, so now I remember these two, well, they are the older ones also, but also these are pink plums and the other ones are black plums. So I guess that would make a difference, your variety of your tree as well. Okay, so here's another apple tree. There's the leaves of it. So far we're seeing every tree has made it through the winter. Now these are blue plums. They are different. They're like an oval shaped and they actually are a blue color. So they are definitely a different type of plum. And they're doing good too. So far every tree we have checked has been blooming. That means it is alive. And it made it through the winter. Okay, so this is another apple tree, and at first I thought, oh, I spoke too soon about everything having made it through the winter, but what you do if you don't see any leaves or any signs it's alive, if you just take it, and if you can bend it, and if it's movable, it doesn't break, then it's still alive. But if it snaps, that means it's dead, so then you know. So that's a good test if you don't see anything, other things, to show you if it's alive or not. So that is alive. It's just slower. Some trees, there's been times where they've been so slow, we really did think they were dead. Even though they were bending, we thought that they were dead. But then they were all right. Okay, so there are some trees that we planted also that were not fruit trees. We planted shade trees and sugar maples because, well, we like maple trees because we like to tap them. Also, I love maple trees because of the leaves in the fall. And so when we first had kids, when every year we would have a baby, for my first Mother's Day, we would plant 2 sugar maples. So that kind of goes with each of the kids. So I love that idea. And plus I like sugar maples. So this one, though, is not a sugar maple. This is a bald cypress. So it's very late. It looks dead, doesn't it? It looks dead. But it's not dead. It's just very, 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 very slow getting its leaves. So it will be all right, though. Over here is a maple that we planted over here. Now, it's very tall. They grow fast, but they leaf out slowly. This one is a silver maple. Now, the other ones are sugar maples, but, I mean, they're all maples. The leaves are still all pretty. But this one is the silver maple is a soft maple, not a hard maple. Sugar maples are hard maples, so they leaf out later. This one leaves out earlier, but all the leaves are still pretty in the fall. So maple is a maple, so for me. Okay, so now we're to the other maple. Now these are the sugar maples, or one of them anyways, and one of them is back there in front of our compost pile, and then we have other ones on the other side of the yard as well. So these, like I said, now these are older than that silver maple we had just planted. I think it was last year or the year before, 2 years ago. So we've only had it for 2 years. This one we've had, well, this was from my oldest daughter. This was one of her maple trees when she was first born. So she just turned 10. So this tree is probably 12 years, going on 12 years old. Because like I said, they're about 2 years old when we buy them. So this is about 12-year-old tree. So it's going really good. And like I said, I wanted to plant maples because, well, we have a lot of oaks on our property and black walnuts. I love black walnuts and I like maples. Oak trees, I like them, but we were losing a lot of our nice big oak trees because of oak wilt. They were dying. So what would happen was in the summer, it would look like their leaves were dying, like it was fall, but it was really summer. And then the next year, nothing. Then they would be dead. So, and what would happen was that if they were touching each other, like obviously you can see in the woods and in our property, I mean, they're touching each other, obviously, right? They're trees. So they would spread that disease to each other. And it was really bad because you couldn't cut them down quick enough because you didn't know, right? So, for example, in the woods, there were some with it, right? They died. We didn't necessarily know this because they're in the woods. But we used to have an oak tree right behind that blue barn where we built it, like literally right behind it, which was touching, obviously, the ones in the woods. So it got it, right? We had to quickly cut it down, but it didn't really work because then we had another oak tree next to the blue barn. It was touching it, and it got it. It died. We had to cut it down. Then, as you can see, there's another stump right here with that oak tree. We used to be an oak tree, okay? Then, in front of the dog kennels, which you cannot see, and even right here where our maple tree is, this is old stump, you can see. These used to be oak trees as well. And, or no, this was that one. Yeah, this was that one. So now, actually, this one was the first one we lost. And we lost it because of a storm. I don't think it had oak wilt, but it was pretty sad. I mean, I was a little devastated because I thought all of our big trees were going to fall down and die. And I really love my big trees. I mean, I just love them. I don't want them to all die. So that's why I've been planting. We're kind of tree crazy on our farm. Tree crazy. Hard to mow, but we love our trees. But anyway, so this was the first one that we lost, and that was due to a storm. So 10 years ago. I mean, yeah, well, about 10 years ago, because we've lived here for 12 years. Okay, yeah, so 10, yeah, and that was about probably 10, maybe 11 years ago. But we've lost total 10 oak trees due to storm or oak wilt. There was some up there we lost. One we lost up in the front yard due to a storm. It fell off. And then another one up there by the road because of the oak wilt. So oak wilt is a bad thing, but there's nothing really you can do about it. So, I mean, we burned all the wood. We have wood stoves, so it was good and bad. We got the wood, but then it was sad because the trees were gone. Okay, so now we are back. We had to stop because we had to take the four-wheeler to the far orchard. So we have some videos of pruning the trees, and that was in this far orchard. And of the berries, this is where our berries are, is in the far orchard too. So now, back to the oak trees though, really quick, about losing all those. But it's a good thing because we have baby oak trees. Of course, this doesn't look like a baby, but to an oak tree, it's a baby because, you know, oak trees are very slow growing and they get very big. So we have 2 baby oak trees that were growing. We didn't plant them. Yeah, we didn't plant them, but they're just from birds spreading the acorns and deer and stuff. And here's another one too. So we have 3 baby oak trees actually. And we have oak trees in the pasture too that are doing good, yeah. So that's good. So, okay. So now we're back to the fruit trees. So here's peaches. No apples. I mean apples. I meant the peach trees right there in the front. Yeah, that's a peach tree. Peach. Remember, they're going to bloom before they leaf. So those are just the blooms. So this was an apple. That's why you see the green leaf before bloom for apple trees. And this is more peach trees. Okay, so up here in this orchard, there's 12 peach trees, 4 apples, and the rest are pear trees. So, and then over here, remember, in my videos from last fall, we planted our onions and garlic, so they're really doing good, and no animals have found out about them yet, so that's really good. And more trees. It's kind of getting dark, so it's getting kind of hard to see. Yeah, and look at that big tall pear tree. Now, I mean, we pruned these this year, so they look so open. So once the fruit starts coming, we'll be able to really see the fruit good. Now look at this one. This is really good. This one's really coming along really nice. This is a Bradford pear. I thought it looked kind of similar to that one up front. Remember the Bradford that doesn't produce pears, but we did it as a pollinator. So we have a pollinator up here and one by the house. So that spreads it out. It helps. It helps. So, but it's doing good, and that's why the other one was doing good too. But yeah. So yeah. So these are all the trees, and we're excited that they are all blooming. Okay, so it's getting kind of dark, but that is all of the trees that are in bloom, all of the fruit trees and everything, and all of the trees on our farm that we love trees. Like I said, we love to replant them. We have had to stop planting trees, though, because we have run out of room. So every time, though, that a tree dies or something like that, we always like to be able to replace it. because God made trees fabulous and we love them. And when they are all in bloom, which will be pretty soon, it is so pretty, and we will definitely post pictures on our channel, and we will do a video of all of them in bloom. So definitely stay tuned to see how pretty fruit trees in Iowa are in bloom. Thanks for watching. Bye.